Our Estuary, sponsored by the Humber Nature Partnership and BP Chemicals.
I'm here today in the village of North Cave to look at a local scheme that's hoping to ensure the future of trout for generations to come. Yes, it's a primary school, and like many schools in the UK, it's involved in a really worthwhile scheme to get children involved in conservation in a very practical, hands-on way.
Yeah, now remember when we looked at photographs, downloading photographs, we were looking at, when you go on the internet to get the photographs, the thumbnail images are not very bright.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it alright if I interrupt for a moment? Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard that you've been working on a really exciting project, is that right? Yeah, what's it called?
It's called Trout in the Classroom.
Could you tell me a bit more about that then?
Well, I might pick one of the children to tell you actually.
Okay.
Would you like to say?
Well, two men came in and they fitted the tank at the back. And then a couple of weeks later we had these trout eggs delivered and there was about 350 of them. And you have to keep them for so long until they've grown to just the state, oh my lord.
How long have you actually had them now then?
About 5 months.
Yeah. We've had them since February. The children have been looking after them ever since. And they've been feeding them. We've learnt a lot about trout. They've been doing a lot of research on the fish. And we're leading up to a big release of them next week into our local river. Well, all of the children have been working on different parts of the project. But one of the things we've been doing as a class is a big book. And I've got someone over here that's going to talk to you about what she's been doing.
So could you read something that you've written about them?
This is the first day. Dear Diary, today I bashed around in a polystyrene box. I rolled into just about all of my friends. I don't really know. It was really dark. Then the box was lifted and small shafts of light came through. A loud thundering noise suddenly broke out and the box lid was lifted. We were taken around and giant human faces stared at us. Random numbers were shouted out, such as 200 or 250. Ha! There are 350 of us. Suddenly, we were tipped into a giant tank. We slowly drifted to the bottom and landed on some very uncomfortable stones. We now rest on these uncomfortable stones, and will do for the next few weeks. I'm only a small brown trout egg, but I will hatch soon. I just have to wait.
Excellent. So that's the sort of trout that you've got then, is it? The brown trout?
Alan and Dave work at a trout farm in the North Yorkshire Moors, and they breed brown trout to then put them in polystyrene boxes and deliver them to schools for the project.
Oh, so there's more schools than just you then?
Yeah.
Harvey and James, if you can tell us about the equipment.
Well, we've got a tank over there for like an equipment where the fish go in and stuff. And we've got a turkey baster, so if we lose one we could suck it up and then just put them in a little box and then flush it down this time.
Oh, right. Do you get many of those?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. We also had a few interesting fish, didn't we? Yeah.
As there were 300, we expected at least one or two to just not form as well as we would like them to, and one of them had two heads, and we don't know for sure, but it could have been that they annoyed each other and ate each other's heads, but we don't know for sure about that.
I can't wait to see them.
They're getting pretty big. They've about tripled from when they first hatched.
Really?
And we've been keeping a check on this, haven't we, by keeping a record of what we've been doing using our iPods, haven't we?
You like write your own book, and we have been writing about trout and putting facts into it, and it's been a really good time doing it.
So you've all enjoyed doing this project then, have you?
Yeah.
So who's going to show me the trout then?
Can I get you two?
We cleared a space over there for all. We used to have books over there, but now we made way for the tank. Excellent. Put in. Well, we've had them for 5 months, and they've started off as little eggs. Like it says on the life cycle, we've got up here and up there. And we're going to be releasing them soon, in about a week or so.
So I expect you'll be sorry to see them go then, will you?
Yes.
You've learned an awful lot about trout, haven't you? You've learned an awful lot about wildlife generally. You've learned about life cycles and how to look after animals. Anybody got anything they want to say?
Yeah, it's been nice watching them grow bigger and bigger every day.
I think a lot more schools should try this, and it'll get them more in touch with nature.
It's been so good to find out all about the trout, and I'm really looking forward to next week when we have the grand launch. So thank you very much for talking to me today, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm here at North Cave Wetlands to meet Steve Martin, a man whose vision turned a series of old sand and gravel workings into a wonderful nature reserve. This wouldn't have been possible without the cooperation of the local company Humberside Aggregates, who had the vision to go along with what was proposed by the local conservation bodies. So let's go and see what it's about. I'm here with Steve Martin, who is the man whose inspiration led to the creation of the North Cave Wetlands from this series of gravel pits that we have behind us. And could I just ask you, Steve, what was the inspiration for this? What were you thinking of when you decided to embark on this project?
I was presented with an opportunity in 1999 when Humberside Aggregates approached me and suggested that local birders and nature lovers might like to buy a redundant or a worked out 96-acre gravel pit, part of which you see behind us here. I knew nothing about creating a nature reserve. I talked immediately to Yorkshire Wildlife Trust and found that they both had the knowledge and the interest, and it's all gone from there and been a brilliant partnership ever since, where everybody is learning between Humberside Aggregates, Yorkshire Wildlife Trust and the local community.
And so could you tell me why you chose a wetland habitat? I mean, mostly it's farmland around here. Why would you select this?
Well, of course, it wasn't farmland originally. Obviously, deep holes full of water by their nature are wetland, but they're not ideal without some further work to them. But 400 years ago, it wasn't farmland. There was 1900 square miles of meres, marshes and flood meadowland in East Yorkshire and North Lincolnshire alone. And then the great Dutch engineer Vermuyden came along, talked about a great reordering of water, a triumph of engineering over nature, and in the last 400 years has turned that all into rich agricultural land. Just where we're standing now was part of a 9,000-acre Walling Fen, which wasn't restored for farming until the Market Wheaton Canal was dug in the late 1770s. So what we're doing with this eventual 350-acre reserve is nothing more than this small area of East Yorkshire, reverting it to what it was from time immemorial.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you and your partner organisations, Humberside Aggregates and Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, have been able to realise this, and thanks very much for telling us about it.
Pleasure.
I'm here with Phil Bright, who's the quarry manager at Humberside Aggregates, to talk a bit about the process of converting an active quarry into a wetland nature reserve. So I can see behind us, Phil, that we've got works in progress. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
Yeah, well, behind us we have phase 4 and 5 of the current planning permission, which is the active extraction area. And basically what happens is that when we've extracted the sand and gravel and it becomes exhausted, we then restore the area as per the design of consultants employed by Yorkshire Wildlife Trust. And when it's done to their satisfaction, we then hand that area over.
And I can see machines moving around on site, but there are bird watchers here today as well. Is this a problem with all these activities going on simultaneously? I mean, how do you manage it?
No, it works quite well, but the public are kept to areas which are opened by the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, and obviously that doesn't include the active areas of the quarry. We're careful to segregate the public access areas from the quarrying area, from the active quarrying areas. It hasn't proved to be a problem. Every now and again we might get people with special interests that want to have a look at something that's happening in the quarry, because it's always a bone of contention that by the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust we often get the best wildlife in the active quarry rather than in the nature reserve. So no, it's not a problem.
Oh, well, I think it's great that you're able to accommodate people like that, and thanks very much for talking to us about it.
Pleasure.
Our Estuary, sponsored by the Humber Nature Partnership and BP Chemicals. Our Estuary, sponsored by the Humber Nature Partnership and BP Chemicals.
I'm back at North Cave Primary School, where there's a very excited classroom full of children waiting for me, and more importantly, 2 representatives from East Yorkshire Rivers Trust. So let's go and meet them now. David, Alan,
hello.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely day for it as well, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Have you got many schools involved in this?
Yeah, we've
project?
done 3 schools this year in the area. Hutton Cranswick, Ticton and this school. We have 6 sets of equipment, so we are capable of doing more if we've got the time. So,
I know we've got an excited classroom of children in there, raring to go. So
they've been very keen all the way through. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So shall we go in?
Can do, yeah.
Brilliant.
Morning.
Who's excited about this then? Yeah? Anyone a little bit sad to see them go?
Yes.
Oh, a bit of both then. Yeah. Would you like to explain, what you're going to be doing
I think
now?
we've seen the fish arrive as eggs back in, was it February? And we've seen them all grow up, and unfortunately we've lost 1 or 2, but you've done very well with the scheme this year. And today we're going to take the equipment to pieces, put the fish in a bucket where we can transport them, and take them down to the river. And then when we get to the river, we'll go through all the life cycles of all the little bugs in the river that live in the river that those fish will learn to start to feed, because they won't have you standing with them during the daytime giving them some food, will they? So all the term the children will be monitoring the water temperature, the numbers of fish, and it forms part of the national curriculum that they're doing in this key stage level. So now I've got enough water to transport the fish in. I'm going to put that somewhere. And now I'm going to catch the fish and put them in this bin. And you can see none of them want to be caught. I forgot to count them as I put them in the tank, so can anybody tell me how many you've got?
Around 50, 60.
I think the class has done really well, don't you?
I think they've done brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
You've been good parents, everybody.
We're now getting ready to move this tank out to the vehicle, so we've put an air pump on it because the trout wouldn't survive for much above an hour in this water without any air or oxygen going into to keep them alive.
So, Alan, is there something I can do?
The first thing to do is you can help me with. We're just going to naturalise the water in the river with what's in the what was in the tank in the school. We'll just let some of the river flow into it.
Yeah.
You'll always see one or two trout will come and try and escape quickly. So we'll quickly lift the bin up. So I think we're
Ooh, like that.
Now, yeah. I think we're not far away now.
Yeah.
Right, so just going to turn the bin into the flow. I'll let you do this.
Okay.
Right, I'll just hold the bottom of the bin. Slowly tip it up, lift the bottom up. Yeah.
Is that it?
You
We're
see,
going to go?
you see all the swim out, they'll swim out.
Oh, there's one. Yeah. There we go. Oh, off he
You
goes.
see them on the riverbed.
Lots of them now. Oh. Yeah, look, you can see them on the riverbed.
They're all hiding under that leaf. Can you see them?
Yeah. And where will they end up eventually?
They can go anywhere. They can go up to Newbold, which is probably 8-9 miles upstream, or they can drift down to the Humber, because there's no difference biologically between a sea trout and a brown trout. They just take it on the heads and go into sea, and off they go, and they go down to Bruffhaven, and they're in the Humber then, and it's out to sea, and probably they can come back if they want to as fish like this. You won't know they're here within a day or two.
Mrs. Winter, can I ask you, what has this project meant to you and the children?
I think it's given the children a good idea about a life cycle of an animal, and it's also had some quite a lot of impact on the children in terms of conservation. We've learnt a lot along the way, and I mean, for instance, a couple of weeks ago when the fish didn't look very well, Alan came into school and it turned out that the filter wasn't working and it needed cleaning out, and it just let the children realise it doesn't take a lot of pollution in a river to make the fish unhealthy. And as soon as it fixed it, they were instantly back to being normal, lively, healthy fish. So it's just little things like that they've learnt along the way.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much for letting us be part of this.
It's been a really good project. We've all enjoyed it, haven't we, boys and girls? We've enjoyed it.
Yes!
I'm here to meet Tony Martin, who's the reserve manager of this wonderful purpose-built bird hide, and he's going to show us a few of the things that we can see from it. Hello, Tony.
Hi, James.
What a great little hide.
Fantastic.
I've done a bit of bird watching in my time on the estuary, but this is wonderful. So tell me, what sort of people come and do bird watching here?
Oh, we're quite lucky here. We're really fortunate because we have the local community heavily involved with the site as well. So we have an array of people. We have very keen naturalists, very keen bird watchers, entomologists, people who just like going for a walk. And so the whole purpose of this hide really to make it more people and wildlife friendly, so children can come and enjoy the site as well as everybody else.
And what sort of things are they seeing? Any particular species?
Yeah, plenty. It's such a fantastic site, and such because it's so young as well, really, in evolutionary terms. So behind us we've got dry mings that's got last year held 1% of the national breeding avocets on there. It's also had little ringed ring plover, oyster catcher, lapwing, redshank, all breeding on there, and that's the purpose was to create that breeding wade habitat.
As a young site, does that mean that you've got things changing all the time, different species every year?
Yes, definitely. It's constantly evolving. So we work obviously very closely with Humberside Aggregates and Middlemarch, who do all our feasibility studies, if you like, and then we re-landscape and design for specific species. So if we're wanting that correct habitat, if you like, for avocets, little winged plover that prefer the bare ground, and also areas that have got the different sward heights of grassland for things like snipe and redshank.
Okay, and any particular highlights at the moment?
There's plenty of highlights to see no matter what the time of year, but yeah, currently it's really, really good. We've had kingfishers breed for the first time on the reserve this year, which is a big bonus, and I know the local supporters have really enjoyed that. Again, dragonflies and damselflies are out, so we've got blacktail skimmer and things, so that there's an array of stuff out at the moment, but certainly kingfishers seem to be the highlight at the minute.
Well, I know Sarah's out there, and hopefully with some experienced birders we might be able to spot her.
Well, I'm by no means an expert bird watcher, but I am keen to find out what's out there. And what better place to try and find it but a hide? So let's go and see if there's someone in there that can give me some pointers. I was hoping someone would be in here. Hi, I'm Sarah.
Nice to meet you.
So, anything about today?
Not a lot today, I'm afraid. We do get the odd kingfisher on these posts down here.
Yeah.
And in front of us at the moment, there's little grebe, great crested grebe, tufted duck, the odd pochard, grey-lag geese, there's cormorant, and there's a greenshank been flying around. There's a ruff over on the far side. So a reasonable amount, but really we're in between seasons at the moment. So
what are the ones that are sort of floating along near the water?
The sand martins.
Sand martins.
They have a colony just at the back here in the new workings.
Right.
They had a good breeding season here, and they'll be heading off back to Africa in the next week or two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be more of those than anything else.
Yeah, it's just you're getting a lot of young out on here now. But yes, they've had a good breeding season.
So what's the likelihood of me seeing a kingfisher then? That's
down
what
here?
I'm really after, yeah.
You'll be lucky, to put it bluntly, because it's a reasonably large reserve, and they do spend a bit of time on some of the other lakes, but they do come on here. I was here yesterday morning for about 10 o'clock, and we had one on that far post there. It was there for about 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, and they're also quite timid. Once they get to know or they see something moving, they're away.
I'm sure. Well, it's wonderful. It's really calming here, isn't it?
It's fine. I mean, it changes almost day by day and season to season quite dramatically. Over this, well, I think we've had 213, I think, separate species on the reserve here, which is quite a good number for basically an inland reserve that's not right on the Humber. It's just off the Humber, so it's not on the main flyway. And yeah, very pleasing.
If you'd like to find out more about any of the items on today's show, please go to www.estuary.tv/Our Estuary.
Our Estuary, sponsored by the Humber Nature Partnership and BP Chemicals.